I returned home for Christmas. The house was deserted, except for Grandma munching on leftovers. Can you imagine driving 6 hours home for Christmas? Your car packed with thoughtful gifts and your heart full of holiday cheer, only to find your family gone? Not just out, but on a lavish Caribbean cruise, funded entirely by the $10,000 student loan I desperately needed for my final semester of nursing school. One casual note on the fridge shattered my world, turning what should have been a perfect holiday into the ultimate betrayal. What the hell happened next? Well, that's my story, and trust me, it's a wild ride. My name is Rosalind, I'm 28, and at that moment, I was just 3 months from graduating nursing school. I grew up in Springfield, Missouri, in what I call a middle-class family, but it was a chaotic kind of middle class. My dad, Harold, worked in sales, which meant some months we lived comfortably and others we scraped by. Mom, Diane, was a part-time receptionist who somehow always spent more than she earned. Then there was my older brother, Jacob, and my younger sister, Olivia. And, of course, Grandma Eleanor, who moved in after Grandpa died when I was 10. Grandma was a steady, reliable presence in our financially chaotic home. While my parents rode emotional and financial roller coasters, Eleanor maintained a calm, practical approach to life. She taught me to budget, to save, to plan for rainy days, lessons my parents never seemed to absorb, despite her best efforts. Our relationship was special. On nights when Mom and Dad argued about money, I would slip into her converted den bedroom, and she would tell me stories or help with homework. "You have a good head on your shoulders, Rosie," she would say. "You're to break this cycle." And I really tried. After high school, I got into nursing school in Chicago. I worked multiple jobs to support myself. Waiting tables in the mornings, campus library afternoons, weekend shifts at retirement home. Every single penny counted. I balanced tuition, rent for a tiny studio apartment, textbooks, and basic necessities. The $10,000 student loan, that was for my final semester. It covered my critical clinical rotations and certification exams. I had avoided debt for nearly 4 years, but these final requirements were impossible to fund for my jobs alone. That loan represented my finish line, the very last financial hurdle before becoming a registered nurse with a stable income. It was everything. My family had a history of financial irresponsibility that occasionally, and by occasionally, I mean regularly, spilled over into my carefully managed life. Dad once borrowed my first car, a used Honda I'd saved for over 2 years, and returned it with a damaged transmission he couldn't afford to fix. Mom had emergencies that required loans she rarely repaid. Jacob borrowed textbook money one semester and paid it back 3 months late, forcing me to use credit cards for my own books. Olivia once borrowed my credit card for what she claimed was a school supply emergency, but it turned out to be concert tickets. Each time, I forgave them. They were family, and despite their flaws, I loved them. Grandma Eleanor would shake her head and remind me, "Love does not mean being a doormat, Rosie." But I always made excuses. Christmas was sacred to me. Growing up, even in the leanest years, my parents made an effort to create magical holiday memories. Bottom left of screen, click full story.